So alongside some brand new foldables, there is a new Wear OS watch in town, but is the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Watch 8 Classic exponentially better than the Pixel Watch 3? Well, here's everything you need to know. If I were you though, I would hit subscribe to get all of the fallout from the recent Samsung launch and all of the Pixel 10 info right from the source as it arrives. Cheers. So for reference, we won't be comparing the Pixel Watch 3 to the brand new Galaxy Watch 8 Ultra, the reason being that they are at very different price points, and the Ultra model is a rugged wearable designed for, well, I'd argue a different audience. It also doesn't have any major internal hardware changes over last year's Watch 7 Ultra, making it a little bit of a pointless upgrade in a lot of ways for many people. So yeah, we're not comparing it to effectively last year's model. We're going to stick to the newest hardware. So the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Pixel Watch 3 I don't think could be further apart visually, but the core recipe might not be all that far apart, if that makes a lot of sense. Google's approach with the Pixel Watch 3 feels like a refined evolution, while Samsung's diverse Galaxy Watch 8 lineup feels designed to be a powerhouse in a slightly different way, aiming to cater to just about every potential preference out there. While the Watch 8 and the Watch 8 Classic are not outright rugged in the traditional sense, the devices are now designed to withstand more damage or abuse than the Pixel Watch 3. The curved glass dome, while I'll admit is really attractive, probably isn't going to be able to take a major beating unless you get a case or cover and clasp back to the front of it. The Watch 8 now is boxier than its predecessor, while the Watch 8 Classic retained that rotating bezel to control various on-screen UI elements and software sections. The regular Watch 8 lacks that option and visually I think is slimmer, but these are definitely chunky watches by any metric. Let's talk about what's under the hood, because that's where things get a little bit interesting. Samsung's entire Galaxy Watch 8 family, from the standard Watch 8 to the Watch 8 Classic, and by extension the Watch Ultra, are rocking Exynos chipsets. The newest models, the Watch 8 and the Watch 8 Classic, have the W1000 chipset, which is Samsung's newest. We're talking about a 5-core 3nm processor designed to bring serious performance and efficiency to your wrist. I think it would be a lie though to say that I can tell a difference between using both wearables, Pixel Watch 3 and the Galaxy Watch 8, side by side, but at least on paper, Samsung's chip should edge things out in terms of performance. It does mean smooth, consistent experiences no matter which Galaxy Watch 8 you strap on your wrist. On the flip side though, the Watch 3, the Pixel Watch 3 that is, has the same Snapdragon W5 Gen 1 chip that has been used since the Pixel Watch 2. Now before you scoff at this chip, even though it is a couple of years old, is still very much on the cutting edge for performance for Android wearables, and we're yet to see a new chip from Qualcomm that will surpass it. When you pair that with 2GB of RAM, the experience is also smooth as silk. So yes, while the Pixel Watch 3 might not have a brand new engine, it definitely isn't lagging behind the competition when it comes to getting things done. Let's get into these screens a little bit, because you're going to be staring at these things all day, or at least multiple times per day. The Watch 8 models all feature impressive Super AMOLED panels. The 40mm Watch 8 and the Watch 8 Classic both have 1.34-inch screens with a 438 by 438 resolution, while the 44mm Watch 8 is a lot bigger with a 1.47-inch display at 480 by 480 pixels. All of them boast a pixel density of around 327 ppi and an absolutely blinding 3000 nits of peak brightness. That means you'll have no trouble seeing your notifications under even the brightest of sunlight. As for the Pixel Watch 3, this has a similar size screen, but it has a slightly lighter or less bright 2000 nit maximum brightness, which is very impressive in its own right. And of course, yeah, you'll be able to see this screen in, as I say, the harshest of sunlight as well. When we're looking at the software stack, the Galaxy Watch 8 series and the Pixel Watch 3, they naturally run on Wear OS. That said, the Watch 8 models ship with One UI 8 Watch pre-installed, while the Pixel Watch 3 is launched with Wear OS 5 and is actually yet to get the official Android 16 based release for the wearable. Ordinarily, Pixel devices do get updates first, but the Galaxy Watch lineup has been the flag bearer of Wear OS, at least since Samsung stopped making Tizen-powered wearables. The Watch 8 series ship with that latest version, but also they get Gemini support right out of the box, but it is going to be rolling out for the Pixel Watch. It's not the full-fat version of Gemini as we know it. Instead, it's just a slim version that lets you control on-device apps and services and get instant queries and responses. It is super fast, super slim, and I'm excited to test this out more thoroughly in the coming months. This does suggest that Google is aiming for a pretty consistent software experience across its recent wearables, but Google also historically has been strong on software support, with the Pixel Watch 3 expected to receive at least as much support as the Watch 8, 3 years, likely through to 2027, which of course isn't the longest, but wearables don't tend to get updates quite as long as smartphones. As for the visuals, the Galaxy Watch 8 definitely feels like an extension of One UI on your phone, and of course One UI 8 has been a triumph of an update following on from One UI 7. As for Material Design and Material 3 Expressive, this is going to be a bigger component in the Wear OS update for Pixel Watch 3. So yeah, until that arrives, there isn't that much that is really truly comparable between these, at least visually. I have to say, while we haven't spent quite enough time to thoroughly test the longevity of both devices side by side, I think we have a fair idea of what to expect given how smartwatches tend to perform or have tended to perform over the past few years. Battery life and charging are always hot topics, and while the Galaxy Watch 8 lineup offers varied capacities, 325 mAh for that 40mm and 435 mAh for the 44mm, the Pixel Watch 3, regardless of its size, is a fairly impressive wearable that we've been impressed by over the past year or so. It is rated for 24 hours of battery life with that always on display active, even though the 45mm Watch 3 packs an extra 140 mAh of juice that goes directly to powering that larger screen. When it comes to charging though, it is pretty quick on both of these. It should hit around 50% in 24 minutes or under 30 minutes on both wearables, and a full charge in around 60 minutes or so, which is very impressive for watches of this size. That said, we'd like to see a little bit faster charging on the next versions. Health and fitness tracking are crucial for any modern smartwatch, and both companies do pack in a lot, although I will say the Galaxy Watch 8 models do come equipped with a few more options available to you. Naturally, you get all of the basics: accelerometer, altimeter, gyroscope, light sensor, and geomagnetic sensor. You also get ECG, SpO2, skin temperature readings, and even a few more for respiratory rate. Google is relying a little bit too heavily on the Fitbit application to handle all of the fitness tracking functionality with its hardware. I do think the experience is very basic compared to what Samsung Health has offered. It has a ton of functionality in the Samsung application that does take advantage of the extra hardware on board. If you want more than basic tracking, I do think the Watch 8 will probably edge out the Pixel Watch 3, but I have to say, as for things like running, basic step tracking, the Fitbit powered, I guess, Pixel Watch 3 is still very impressive, and it does have a lot of things that you can tune in if you do have a paid Fitbit premium plan, which is available as part of that Nest Aware plan in certain regions. As for the Watch 8 series, it probably is going to be a little bit more accurate in a variety of environments, so it does have more tracking options right out of the gate. So although this isn't the most in-depth comparison, it's more of an overview, I think given that the Pixel Watch 3 is set to be usurped by the Pixel Watch 4 in the coming weeks, I do agree it is in a lot of ways a bit of an unfair comparison. That said, I do think there are some solid reasons to choose Google's wearable if you want a Wear OS watch that blends into the background rather than demands to be seen, as it were. I think while we're not expecting tons of updates on the Watch 4, at least you do get an idea of what to expect when we compare these two, and it's hard not to see that the Galaxy Watch 8 is probably going to give you a lot more bang for your buck, at least in that regard. We will try and revisit this comparison when the Pixel Watch 4 does arrive, but I do think the upside is that Google's wearable has come down in price a little bit since its launch late last year. So maybe you could get some good deals, and there may be some good deals floating around very soon to compete with these. As for the best Wear OS wearable, as it were, I do think the OnePlus Watch 3 might have a very good chance of even surpassing the Galaxy Watch 8, but it's a very good time if you do want high quality Wear OS wearables, especially as Samsung is upping the game once again with hardware that has listened to criticism and now fits in better with the Samsung Galaxy ecosystem for 2025. Let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. And of course, yeah, stay tuned for more comments and comparisons just like this. Cheers for watching, and I will speak to you later though.